wanted to do a little cook-up video, or hell, not even a cook-up video. We might not that I can't even talk. We ain't even gonna get nowhere. It's kind of a how-to, how I navigate, how I do this thing. I'm not trying to ride the wave. I just want to share with you guys, my method. I'm not a Fruity Loops guy. I know a majority, everybody's on that Fruity Loops tip. It's great software. I've played around in it back in the day. I was an artist for years. I just started focusing my time and energy towards, beat making and production, working with other artists. It's been a fun venture, but still learning. Got a lot to learn, but I got a lot to share. Reaper is my go-to. You just saw me pop it open. Cockos or cockos or however the hell they say that. Solid software. It's like Pro Tools. Looks, feels, operates kind of the same way, same capacity, but they trim the fat. It is not the resource hog. I've ran Pro Tools on some pretty badass computers, and still had issues. None of that with Reaper. But enough about all of that. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just think with the price point, I think full licensed software is like $60, compatible with all your favorite VSTs. Omnisphere, Native, Ozone, whatever your go-to is. It's gonna work here. Very versatile DAW. But again, enough of that. Let's get to making some beats. No cash, no Zaytoven, but pretty sure I got something that can help somebody. And if you're new to all of this, just kind of give you an idea of the process. So yeah, new workstation. You can do project templates and things. It takes a little time to set up. You can pre-map things out. If you got MIDI controllers, you could assign channels, different instruments. It just kind of makes the process of building the composition a lot quicker. We're just going to start with a raw project from here. So we'll put something together real quick, and in the meantime, let me know in the comments how long you've been producing music, and what's your go-to DAW. What do you use? Logic, Reason, Fruity Loops, Pro Tools? You a fellow Reaper user? I want to chat with you. I'm new to this. This is my first go at it. So again, bear with me, and see if we can all learn something. So double click, new track. We're going to set our input to, actually we're not channeled out, so all channels, monitor input, that way we can hear what we play. I normally start with a chord progression, something simple, and we'll go from there. So let's open up a keyboard. It's a free little VST. I like the Rhodes piano excuse me, that they have. Woo. Okay. All right. My MIDI controller was all jacked up. My bad. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can freestyle it in, play it in, or if you don't know instruments at all, we're going to create a new MIDI item, and we can come in here and start using some basic principles. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the, 1-3-4 or 1-4-3 for major minor chords, but basically you set your root note, and we're going to count up 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And simple adjustment. That goes from 1-4-3, or from 1-3-4 to 1-4-3 on your count and the chord build, and that just takes you from major to minor. Versus super simple stuff. Different strokes for different folks, man. My brain fart. My apologies. I'm not here to judge. Everybody makes music their own way. There's no right or wrong, but that's a decent trick for you to start. You can carry that root note. Some guys will do simple as that. We'll fill it with the whole measure, and then they'll just start playing around, staying true to the principle of the count. That 1, 1-3-4, 1-4-3. But basically, by holding the root note, you can create some. It's probably gonna sound like crap, but you'll get the idea. You can create some variations real quick. Yeah, I'm not a click-in artist. That's not my style. So I'm not really surprised that didn't work for you. But you kind of get the idea. There's plenty of cats out there. I know that Beezy Kid, Beezy's God. You know, a handful of other artists. Nick Mira, another very talented producer. You know, they do a lot of their work by just clicking in. They don't know music theory from their elbow. And again, that's totally cool. They both make some banging beats. You know, so check both of them out if you want more of a style in terms of, you know, putting together these melodies rather than just searching. You know, some of us don't even know where to start. Got a nice little latency or something going on. This capture software, I don't know. Gotta get used to this. All right, so enough BS. We gotta get something going here, right? So for the sake of the video, we're actually gonna pull up a loop. We're gonna bring in a loop. Let's open our Media Explorer. Here's my sample library. See if we got a melody loop or something that we can speed this up. There you go. 155 beats per minute. It's in the key of A. Excuse me. So we'll change our BPM. I actually drug that in. It's going to stretch it. Say we didn't want to work at this time, or you need to stretch a sample, manipulate a sample, hold down the Alt key. There's our time stretch. So I kind of like that. I'll speed it up. Let's go to 145. There it is, 130. We'll manipulate it a little more, make it our own. When working with samples, you want to chop them up. You know, play with frequencies, isolate different frequencies, make that sound your own. Odds are, especially if it's a free sample, everybody and their brothers used it by now. And the last thing we want to do as creators is create things that remind, you know, our viewer base of somebody else. That's mission not accomplished. That's my 2 cents. So we're gonna mess this up a little bit. Let's try pitching it up, see where it goes. 3 semitones. That's awful. Now remember, we just took something that was in the key of A, raised it 2 semitones. Okay, so 2 steps up from A, you go A sharp to B. Remember that. So now when we start laying bass lines, if you got to tune any kicks, anything like that, always be conscious of this stuff. You want to, you know, even if your melodies, your rhythms, things are off, as long as you're in key, things are a lot easier to listen to. So bear that in mind. So B is where we are now. Label things if you need to. Melody. Key of B. Now we knows this. Actually, let's throw a reversal on that real quick. That might be kind of cool. That's got a neat little... There you go. There's our melody. All right. Let's make it a beat. Let's go back to our brain fart. I'm gonna dock this. I run a multi-screen, but we're only recording on one. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm goofing with. So, alright. Sample library. Let's just, again, we'll keep this quick. We'll just go into one of these kits. Let's see. Trapaholics. We got any hats? I just like select my samples with my loop going. Sometimes things have weird, kicks with stacked hats or crashes, things like that, and they don't mesh well with the overall sound. Those are all open hats. Got a rim shot down there. Let's go super simple here. All right, so right out the gate, we're going to change our grid layout to 1/8 notes. Hold down Control on your keyboard, click and drag to duplicate. We're going to set a closed hi-hat. Right mouse click, hold and drag, select all, same thing. You can just do more at once, speed up the process. There we go. Hi-hats. That easy. Now we're getting somewhere. Staggered clap in here. Oh. So both volume changed. More than one track selected at the same time. So if you got to bring the whole mix down, you can control all, play around. Alright. Let's find that kick drum. Oh man, my bad. I'm trying to build in 4 bars. That was my mistake. Why can't I find his pocket? Good to have it work in 8s. Gives you a lot more room. Create dynamics in a track. looping things out, so on and so forth. Drums, if you're going super simple with kick and snare, you know, boom bap, you can build in 2 and 4 bars. You know, but some with more of that trappy, spacey kind of current feel. You want to give yourself a little bit more room. Alright, get this kick out. Enough digging around. Just label this up real quick so I'm organized. Sorry, wifey brought in some homemade sage sticks. Grew in our yard. It was smell fire. That got my attention. All right, I'm back. All right, see, sometimes less is more. We're gonna keep the drums super simple like that. Let's get a couple rolls going. Here and a half. Come up here, make sure our grid lines. That's a good space. Oof. Excuse me. It's a good space for an open hat where we pause out that. It's all got too much drag. This might work. Okay, so that snare's got a clap on top of it, so it works in there well. I got the whole damn family in here now. I turn around, I got a crowd. Pressure's on. All right. Create a little run right here at the end of the measure. Change our grid line out to 64ths. So we can get more of that roll effect. Clean up our sample a little bit. tighten up the tails at least. And then we're going to time stretch it to fit. Hold down Alt and just snap it in. Now it's a perfect little 64th note. Shample. There's a roll. You can get creative with these. Actually, what we'll do, is duplicate this. And then on the second set, we'll start pitching these up. So single semitone, 2, 3, 4. I normally cap at 4. With the hats and snares, things start just sounding way out of whack when you pitch them up that high. You could also put this in the sampler. Reaper comes with a built-in sampler, and you can set it to tonal control on your MIDI controller to obey note off, so on and so forth. So you could drum this in on an MPC, on the MIDI controller, so on and so forth, and it'll obey or readjust the sample to, you know, obviously there's restraints or limitations. But here you'll see, check out the variation now from the roll to roll. You start processing samples that far. You normally only got an octave, half of an octave to work with. Just got a little more scoop to it. First one. There you have it. So there's our simple loop. And I mean, you're basically getting the gist here. Obviously, we're cheating. You know, the samples make things a lot easier. You know, make it your own. Not here to judge. Again, I love sampled hip hop. Sampled lo-fi hip hop's one of my favorite, you know, genres in terms of instrumentals. But it can be done right. You know, there's artistry to it, and then there's just a lazy, you know, you let somebody else cook up your melody. Anybody can punch in some cool sounding drums. You know, that's not the hard part here. So yeah, here we go. We got this jamming. We'll throw a little pad layer on here, create some space. Let's see what we got. Let's just do something super simple here. First one, stock, factory plugin. We're running with it. Nothing fancy, but we're gonna get this rolling. I'm just playing around a G in the octaves, manipulating the octave. You know, G's a note in that key that we're in, so it's again one of them safe zones. So we're gonna set our metronome count in before recording, and freestyle this real quick. Take a loop record off. So you can see we got a little variation in there. The punched in through the MIDI controller, just maps it out for you. Control A, you can select all, hit Q. We can do a quantize, use grid. snap everything to grid. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes not so much. Depends how out of key you are and where your steps are set. Obviously, if you're playing 16th, eighth notes or quarter notes, and you've got it set to a whole measure, it doesn't really know which side of that measure to place it to, so it can get ugly on you. We're just gonna roll with this. So we got something, create a little space. Let's do a little higher end lead, create some separation, and we're gonna call this good. We'll show you a quick arrangement and call it a day. Let's see what we got. It's different. This delay in my headphones from this screen capture is crazy. I can't play nothing for you anymore. So, we're going to punch this in. Oop. No input. No MIDI. Latency. I gotta figure this out. This is gonna take me forever to click in. I am not a click in producer, and I don't want to waste y'all's time. So we're gonna call this our beat. Alright. Do a couple quick arrangement tricks, and we'll call this our app. Alright, so we know we got 8 bars. And I'll show you another reason that it makes it easy, or is a good format to work in. We'll come in with the hat there, bass line. Oh no, that's our pad layer, my bad. Oh, that's shit. We didn't even do an 808. I'm a noob. Bear with me. Let's put some bass on this thing. This we are going to have to click in though, because this latency. Where am I at on the... Weird. So in laying out the 808s, it's always nice to go up a couple octaves. You can hear things in key, so on and so forth. So I'll loop this little area, click in a bass line. again, just to speed this up, we'll build the bass line in just 4 measures like that. Let's glue it. Okay. Just run it all the way through. All right, so we took out our drums, hats, some of that here in the beginning. We got the pad and our original sample running. Let's rock it out. This is where you start arranging it. Make it interesting. Because I moved those with the grid line set on 64, so my bass line is just slightly off all the way through. You see that? I snapped the grid. Mistakes you'll make a million times, man. Easily avoidable. All right. So we're going to just pop this off with the bass. Man, it'd help if we brought it down to where it should be too. Down an octave, adjust that velocity a little bit. Yeah, that sounds like 808. It's not my first time, guys, I swear. Versatility to the track itself, the doper the arrangement can be. You know, it's all about setting up the layers, melodies, leads, pads, create that ambiance. You know, different percussive natures, off time, kind of out of pocket. Really, they add a lot of accents. You know, little triplets in the bottom end. You know, some of those little accent notes, people don't even know if they really heard or not. My wife calls it sparkle. I'm with her on that. So we sparkle up a track, and it ain't done until you add the sparkle. And I guess real quick before we go, what I would mean by that, little things like risers. You know, you throw a little riser before a crash on a snare. It's just crazy. It just sets it off. Little ambient areas or ambient noise. You know, things in you know, little instrumental breaks in the track, so on and so forth. Here we'll find a sweep. See, I think corny as hell, but watch. gas, that sparkle, boy. Chance, you know, you name it. Get creative. Have fun with it. But that's it. I'm going to wrap it up on that. I hope you all learned something. I hope it can help. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, we out.